back with Webo, and we join the drivers as Umer has made up a place on Super D, getting past Avalak as well. They're down into second place, then Avalak deposed into fourth place. My apologies for the situation, just the way that this game works, unfortunately. Trying to line up everything for you as well, but Umer on the soft tyres having a great restart, but so is Bunya's on the mediums, on the used mediums that is, having a really good run. And Super D, Avalak, Uzi into fifth place, Arno, Pantry, Hashim and Chums with Nick in the top 10. Shakes has gone into the pits after the safety car, probably the worst time to pit, but presumably for some damage repair, as Uzi is right behind Avalak. And trying to, well, just tracing a line in the gravel with the outside tyre through the Degners was Uzi, getting a little bit loose on those old hard tyres, but he's gained places up to fifth place now. And AP Mark, we're almost there and trying to do this for you guys. Hashim versus Pantry Star. Hashim just gets the nod ahead through 200R and on the approach to Spoon, and a nice overtake there from Hashim on the older hard tyres than the driver he is fighting with, Pantry Star. Nick overtakes Chums, who I think is off the circuit. Yes, Chums for Haas, just on the grass and getting himself back onto the circuit now, but dropping down behind Top Gun Nick and Royal Viking as a result. Martin down in 13th. Do not know how to explain Martin's positioning on track. That is an absolute shocker of a restart procedure and setup for Martin, who was the pole sitter here. Top three, Bunya's, Umer and Super D. Keep track of that gap for Umer. Not only in front but behind as well, because he needs to open up a pit stop difference to those fresh soft runners of Super D, Arnu, Pantry Star and Nick, who are tired to the end if we have no further stoppages. Another apology from me about these technical issues we have with the server kicking me out. Hopefully we're stable now. Super D right on the back of Umer. This is really fascinating. The same age on the tyres, and Super D has got a great run. Will he have a go into the hairpin? Not quite. He's just being patient at this stage, going inside outside with his line through the hairpin. And Umer struggling to fight off Super D, even in the young soft tyres he's on at the moment. Remember, the drivers only have a single set of mediums and hards to play with here in a 50% race, so really Umer's only option is to put the hards on after this soft set. Lap 12 of 27. Super D just being dropped slightly now. Uzi within range here, perhaps down the next start finish straight once they get that DRS in operation. Super D dropping to under a quarter of a second. He's got a great run here on Umer. Super D getting the overlap, and I don't think Umer fighting this one very hard. Looks to the inside line there for Super D, who runs super deep into the turn one, but keeps the car on the road. Uzi lost out slightly versus Avalak. But Super D up to second place with some really good race pace at this stage, and unusually getting the car running very nicely. The second of our Alpha Tauri's Shakes has retired into 16th position, and unfortunately, there we go, another safety car has been called for. Let's hope we keep the stream on if possible. Second safety car on lap 13. That is Shakes and Brad both out of the race. I don't know if anyone is watching us from the other divisions who are Alpha Tauri drivers, but some stern words will be had in the Alpha Tauri team chat room, I imagine, after a double retirement before the first half of this race is done. Not what I'd be expecting, but this could work out for Umer, who can now fit fresh hards versus everyone. As Fahim says, hard, box, box, box. Yes, absolutely. That's no question that Umer needs to get rid of those soft tyres now. But he will lose track position, no questions about it. Avalak and Uzi on 12 lap old hards, as is Bert's down there in 14th position. Quite why Chums and Martin are swapping positions is beyond me. this stage. Will Umer come on into the pits now? Yes, indeed he does. Looking for a short pit stop. Boonti's pits as well, so that's one driver he's still going to fight with on his way out of the pits. Hard tyres coming on, and a new front wing for Umer. That's possibly explaining why he was struggling. And there's a queue forming in the Osman McLaren pit lane as Uzi had to stack there with his teammate. So it's now Super D at the front of the field. Hashim, Pantry and Nick. Top Gun, Arno. Chums, Martin. And then on fresh tyres we've got Boonti's Avalak and Umer. Avalak hoping to get medium tyres just about half distance through this race. Will Avalak make it? Let me know in the chat if you think Avalak can get half a distance out of the medium tyres. Usually it's about 1/3 distance is comfortable. Depends how many more safety cars we have, I suppose. But in P10 now is Avalak. The order completely mixed up, making a total mockery of qualifying as it was, as Super D is trying to do the Sergio Perez move of hassling the safety car. You won't get let off that as easily in the game, unfortunately, if you get too silly with the safety car. Do you know, I've actually seen drivers, not in this league, but I've seen drivers destroy their cars running into the safety car, so it's more than possible. Got to be careful. No problems on the audio. I'm just going to rest my voice slightly while we wait for the second safety car to finish. Safety car will be on its way in now. Super D will lead us away. Very late announcement from the safety car as Super D gets a wiggle on, coming almost crashing into the pit wall, but getting away neatly and tidily enough on 9-lap-old hards from Hashim on 13-lap-old hards. Then comes Pantry Star with a close battle developing between Top Gun here and Arnu, who gets a sneaky look up the inside, but Top Gun hangs it out round the outside through turn 2 and holds on to 5th place. Martin is into 7th place through that pit stop window, and Umer already jumping the other cars. Umer with his brother Uzi behind him. Avalak dropping down to P12. Umer and Uzi in 10th and 11th on fresh tyres, each of them. But back up at the front, it is Super D, Hashim, Pantry Star, and this battle now for 3rd place between Pantry Star and Nick Gishen. Heading down in towards the hairpin. May see some speculative moves coming into the hairpin. This is Top Gun versus Arno again. Martin trying to get a piece of the action as well and make it a Mercedes 5-6. But Arno closing the door, as he has every right to do. Aston Martin at the tail of the field at the moment, 14th and 15th. That could change later, but Royal Viking has the only penalty on the board. There's Martin with the goldfish or Finding Nemo helmet livery. Nick getting super close, almost indecipherable from the car in front on the way down the backstretch. Nick shaping to the mirrors, but not close enough. Within 0.2 of a second temporarily there. Nick may have a good run coming out of the corner, but on hard tyres there's no way through. As a 1.2 second lead for Super D at the start of lap 17. 20 to go. Top Gun at the back of Nick as well. Top Gun having a much better run out of the final corner. And talking of runs, there was a beautiful move from Martin. Slips one up the inside, and Arno struggling to recover the car. Was held out there on the marbles, couldn't turn in. I don't think there was contact, and spin to the infield, but recovering the car. That helps Umer, Uzi, Avalak and Jacques, and now Bert's up into 13th position respectively. They all jump up in the order, but Super D with some really strong middle of the race pace here so far. The Mercedes are together now in 5th and 6th, and Martin gets ahead of Top Gun, who pulls aside almost to the grass, cooling the tyres maybe, and they get past Nick as well, who had a problem on the hairpin. Nick, everyone's having mistakes on this restart lap. It's this lap after the restart, I should say. Cold hard tyres, struggling away here. Chums with Bunya's right behind as well in 7th. But Martin and Top Gun on the ascendancy. It is Super D, Hashim, Pantry Star, Martin and Top Gun the top 5. What of the McLaren duo, Umer and Uzi, are in 9th and 10th, still making up the pace through this this second session, third of the race, and down into the chicane at the end of the lap go the main runners, the front runners. I'm waiting for that DRS that has just been enabled for the first place driver, so nobody can use it down this stretch. Nick half a second behind the Mercedes. There's no way of making a look through there. Arno and Jacques just swapping places. Does Jacques give that one over quite easily? I think he probably did, coming out of the final corner and down the start-finish straight. So the field all nice and compressed again, although a bit of a gap between 11th and 12th, 7 seconds. Avalak versus Bertz, and here is your leader, Super D, Hashim, Pantry Star, and then Martin, your pole sitter, currently riding in 4th, but with some great pace at this stage. Martin just dropping his teammate slightly there, Top Gun. Going for slightly different tyre use strategies. Martin trying to get the jump on Pantry Star for 3rd place currently, as Bunya's overtakes Chums, who is having a slow run through the middle sector of this lap. 18, not quite sure what's happened to Chums. So down the inside, tries Umer on Chums, looking for a gap. A gap was left, and fair racing between the two of them. Martin with a new fastest lap at 33.292 as Arno picks up a penalty as well. Umer with a much better run coming down the start-finish straight, goes back up to P8. Umer on the climb back through the race, and there is Nick just behind Top Gun in 6th place. Oh, problem for Martin, sadly. Martin dropping down the field, and also Pantry Star. Looks like that was probably contact because Martin's missing the right-hand side of his front wing, the end plate, and at least an element or two. Martin struggling around, and Pantry Star may well have damage to the back of the car as well, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 1. That is for Royal Viking, who is off track as well. This lap 19, causing problems for the drivers. Either that's focus or strong wear on the tyres. I think the medium runners might well be safe here. Uzi and Avalak and Burtz, who are running mediums, to at least going to try to the end of the race. And it is Super D Hashim who's just dipped within that 1 second window. Top Gun in third, Nick close behind, but Bunyan is crowding his mirrors in 5th place. Umer right up there as well, but is about to join a DRS train behind the two drivers in front. Hashim at 33.189 drops the bar for the fastest lap. Maybe Avalak looking on the back of Uzi, not quite close enough, and Martin pits now for damage repairs. Will that be a soft tyre run to the end? It certainly will be. So soft tyres for Martin. Will rejoin in 14th or 15th, depending on how long he takes in the pits. But we'll be hoping for another safety car period, which I'm sure the rest of us are all hoping to not happen. Uzi right on the back of Chums, and Chums will be sick of the sight of that papaya orange McLaren livery, because it will be very likely to cause him some PTSD after what happened before. Oh, Uzi, little spin, Ella coming out of the hairpin, a little overcorrection on a spin turn away from the start, and gets overtaken by Pantry Star. And Burtz with a sympathy spin knocks the front wing off. I did not mean to chuckle there, but there is retirement. There is the next safety car opening up the door for Martin. He was hoping dearly for. Martin will be laughing in the cockpit to himself at his good fortune. Super D on 13 lap old hards. Now, do the drivers all decide to pit here? Let's see. Hashim does, yes. Top Gun. Super D elects not to pit, funnily enough. Nick, the same. So Hashim has rolled the dice. Nobody else coming in. I'm surprised. I thought there'd be a lot of drivers coming in now for soft tyres to finish this race out with the opportunity that they've got. Only 2 laps into his medium run, Hashim pits. There he goes into... No, old mediums putting on. So, our third full safety car period in the race so far. We will probably have a 5-lap sprint at the end. Albanian Smokey says, can I join the league? I'm sure you can. I would have thought you will find a link to the Discord on the homepage of Full Throttle Racing, and that will be your easiest way in. Have a look at the about page or similar, or someone maybe in the watching live might be able to help you out. That'd be good to see if you join the league. There are 3 different divisions of racing currently, and you may well be able to join the most appropriate one for your pace as a reserve for this current season 8. But be lined up for the next season. So pit stops definitely for Arno, Martin and Jacques, 12th, 13th and 14th. And he's at Super D, still leaving the pit lane. We get going. It was only a VSC, it seems. So Super D leads by 7.7 seconds from Nick Gishett. Unfortunately, I don't get a notification of what is a VSC and what is a main safety car on the screen, just a triple yellow flag, unfortunately. Nick then chasing down Top Gun for second place. The field did not compress the way that the tail runners would have been hoping for, and that retirement. So 5 laps to go for the end of this race. Nick Gishen then chasing down Top Gun. Top Gun would love to get himself a second place tonight, I'm sure. I'm sure anyone would love a second place, unless they're leading right now, but Top Gun particularly, I'm sure he would get a real boost from that, and it'd be great to speak to some different drivers in the post-race press conference. Okay, Albanian Smokey, stay put, leave a chat, leave a comment on the video instead of a live chat, and the owner Avalak, I'm sure, will guide you as necessary. If you just leave a comment on the main video rather than the live chat, I'm sure they will hook you up with the sufficient links that you need to join us. This is predominantly a South African league, although I think we're branching out a little bit, and it's an amalgamation. Gerhard Botta says, when you join, we'll give you all the info. Yeah, I think we need a link, Botta, into the Discord itself, if you can help furnish that. I say it might be easier if you go by the main video comment section. Anyway, I'll leave our trusted live viewers from the Premier Division to help you out with that one, as Super D continues to lead by 7.6 seconds. Nick Gishen chasing down Top Gun in second place. Nick Gishen in third. Boonye is crowding around the back of Nick's Red Bull. It is a real mix-up grid, and it's great to see new drivers vying for the podium here, but all too familiar as it is starting to develop, as Umer is right on the tail now of the Williams of Boonye's. Delawan says here, supporting Top Gun. Well, I'm sure you'll be super thrilled to see Top Gun there in second place at the moment, and Umer in fifth, starting to getting very, very large in the mirrors of the Williams of Boonye's. Royal Viking drops down behind Martin on the soft tyres. Royal Viking struggling for pace tonight, but trying to stick it out to get points at the end of the race, I'm sure. Super D is miles away. His pace has been tremendous tonight, and I really look forward, if possible, to speaking to him at the end of the race. Really very clean racing so far. We've seen penalties just for Hashim, for Anu, and 2 for Royal Viking there. You can see on screen what those penalties currently amount to for everybody. Position change wise, Martin's dropped down 10 and Umer down 4 at the moment, although I think Umer might have more to say about this one. Chums up 8 and Top Gun up 9 as Nick Gishen goes for a move down the inside, but no way through just yet. Avalak, though, versus Chums looks to be triumphing at the moment. Avalak into P6, but his Top Gun with the most places gained might well get himself a Driver of the Day award here if everything continues the way it is at the moment, with 3 laps to go, 3 complete laps to go after this one, of course. And Super D leads by 8.3 seconds now, because Top Gun has got his mirrors full of Red Bull. As described earlier, it is a tremendously difficult circuit to make an overtake, to stay with the driver through 130R, through the chicane at the end of the lap, and be close enough with DRS to action and overtake. Let's take a look, shall we? A sneaky look at the telemetry scores then for Top Gun 33, Nick on 38, Boonye is still on 59%, and Umer most of all on 65. So it looks to be reverse order of this second, third, fourth and fifth position drivers when it comes to the amount of ERS they have left to fight with. Should be getting a good slipstream here. There you see Top Gun just defending to the inside, trying to weave slightly and break the toe. As Umer, will he have a go? Not quite, as they go side by side through the Casio triangle, and very controlled there from Top Gun, but unfortunately defended to the outside, and Nick took the place. It looks like, is it going to be a momentum busting move here for Boonye's on Top Gun? Yes, it will. Top Gun slips in 2 corners, well, 3 corners I guess, down to 4th place sadly, and will be out of range for that Driver of the Day award at the moment. We've got Umer hassling the back. Top Gun is on 17 lap old hard tyres versus the 11-lap-old Boutniers and Umer. Quite a significant difference in wear and grip rates of those hard tyres at the moment as they head through the Degners, under the trees and under the bridge, under the crossover there. You see the track through 130R crosses over. The only crossover track on the F1 calendar, one of the only real-world circuits that has that crossover feature. Super D has disappeared, and he's currently 9.9, nearly 10 seconds to the good at the front of this field. And after two safety cars and a virtual safety car, that is no mean feat at all. He's on 18-lap-old hards, the same as Nick, and one more than Top Gun. Here's Boutniers then. Can he close close enough to have a go into turn one? Umer is certainly within range here as they cross the detection line for the DRS, going into start lap 26. Boutniers is 4 tenths behind Umer with a good use of that ERS versus Top Gun. We saw how much more he had than Top Gun earlier on, and he gets the job done. Umer up to 4th place now, and with a topsy-turvy kind of a race with many stoppages, I think Umer will be pleased if he can be challenging for the podium at the end of this one. Just to run you through the order, we've got 14 runners left with 2 laps to go. Super D, Nick, Boutniers, Umer we ride with. Then Top Gun in 5th, Avalak, Chums, Pantry Star, Hashim and Uzi make out the top 10, followed by Arno, Martin from pole down to 12th position, Royal Viking in 13th, and Jacques bringing up the rear at this stand. As things stand, Top Gun, you can tell he's pushing hard to stay with these front runners, unfortunately slipping to 5th and picking up a 3-second penalty. That will put him behind Avalak, whether Avalak passes him or not. And Top Gun with a job to do to try and stay ahead here of Chums in 7th, you feel, potentially at the end of this race. Well, Nick, Boutniers, Umer, the battle for 2nd place continues. On screen you can see Boutniers nicely close to Nick and picking up the toe as he goes through. I wonder if Delouan is going to be wishing he hadn't mentioned Top Gun until the end of the race. It does seem like when drivers' supporters have started speaking up is when they've tumbled down the order, unfortunately. Top Gun, nothing he could do. Much older, hard tyres against these drivers on a much better strategy on this day. But take nothing away from Top Gun. A good drive. Plenty of places gained. Hashim has just gained a place on Pantry Stars. The final lap is well underway. Almost, 1 sector old for Super D. 10.1 seconds. His gap at the front. But if anything's going to happen for overtakes at the end of this race, it's going to be, I think, between these three. Nick, Boutniers, Umer, in that order on your screen. Umer getting closer and closer to Boutniers now. Heading under the crossover after Degner 2 and before the Kobayashi hairpin. So Hashim greedily looking at 7th on the road, but with a penalty on the car, we'll need some final lap to gap the cars behind him. So we have a slightly mixed order once the penalties are paid for. Top Gun will definitely be overtaken by Avalak come the penalty, but he's just at the moment sufficiently far past Hashim far past Chums, I should say, to finish. Well, coming out of the final corner and picking up the checkered flag, Super D wins here round 2 in Japan with a masterful display in the 2nd and 3rd thirds of that race. Brilliant stuff. Nick picks up the 2nd place and Boutniers in the 3rd. Great to see new drivers there on the podium. Super D, Nick and Boutniers. Then comes Umer, who finishes the race in 4th. Avalak picks up 5th. Leapfrogs Top Gun, who holds on to his 6th place versus Chums in 7th. Pantry Star 7th, 8th for Haas. Uzi at 9th. Double points for McLaren and the Osman brothers. Then comes Hashim in 10th. Arno, Martin, Royal Viking and Jacques. And I will do my level best to try and get you those drivers, Super D, Nick Gishen and Boutniers, into the chat at the end. Tiago says, get in my Uncle Etienne, Top Gun, you mafia. And AP Mark says, well done, McLaren. Excellent stuff. Well, I will try and get us into the order once we've got the announcement for driver of the day. But congratulations to Super D in the Ferrari, picking up the win in Suzuka. Brilliant stuff. I'll take you through the order and then I will start the press conference. Do drop a line in the chat if you want to ask a politely worded question to our podium. If I can get them, I will do my best. There is Super D with the win, confirmed. Top Gun with the driver of the day as well. I think him and his fans will be pleased with that one. For him, pleased with the race overall. Well done, the top three, he says. So waiting for the podium celebration. Let me just start the party, and we'll try and get our drivers in if possible. You don't need to see a podium celebration you've seen 100 times before, I hope. Hopefully our man Avalak will hook us up with the drivers, and because these drivers are joining us for the first time, we may have a slight audio issue at the end there. Delouan enjoyed the race. Super D wins for Ferrari from 4th on the grid on a 32.6 fastest lap. The fastest lap actually went to Martin, who got the pole of 32.080, which some of the drivers would have been happy with in qualifying. 47.58 minutes race time from Nick. Then comes Boutniers, Umer and Avalak. Super D, Nick and Boutniers, your podium. Umer, Avalak, Top Gun, Chums, Pantry Star, Uzi, Hashim, your top 10. Fastest lap went to Martin, but he won't score points, unfortunately, for that in 11th. Arno in 12th, Royal Viking in 13th, and Jacques did bring the car home in 14th place. We ended up with Bert Shakes, 0-2 call, and Brad. A very poor night for Alpha Tauri, unfortunately. Not great for Zero and Bert's, but their teammates managed to finish the race, thankfully, and hopefully we will be able to speak to our podium sitters soon. I will do my best to try and get them. Let me see if I can sort that one out for you. I'll get invites out, unless Avalak is already doing it for me. Hopefully he is. Nope, Super D won't let me add him, unfortunately. He's got his setting set to no on that front. I'm going to struggle. I'm going to hold on for a minute or two, but I'm going to struggle to get our drivers in at the moment. I will let you know what happens in the driver chat as well. We've got Umer typing an absolute essay here. Umer leaving evidence that he selected hards in the first stop, and unfortunately it put him on softs, so it was a glitch, unfortunately for Umer. Sad to see. Just waiting to see if anyone else is going to leave a chat here. Interesting to see Shakes adding if anyone's got a wheel for sale at the moment. That's funny. That's really funny stuff. Obviously not loving life on the controller. Just waiting to hear from Boutniers. Let me see if I can't get a comment from... I'm just waiting to hear from Buntius, who's typing away, and I'll try and finish this off for you. And Fahim said, yeah, the softs were a weird call from his son Umer. Yeah, so clearly it was a glitch. He's provided video evidence very quickly. He's obviously that upset about it that he's sorted out a video clip already. Bunty is saying, you guys were so fast in qualifying. I was over a second behind, but finished P3 in the race. I think Bunty is pretty happy with his night's work. That was a very good, new, fresh podium for us tonight. I haven't heard anything from our podium drivers. I'm afraid it doesn't look like we're going to hear from them either by voice or by text for me to read out to you. We'll have words in the background this week and try and get that sorted for you. But thank you so much to everybody who has watched this race, especially those of you who have rejoined the race 3 times to watch tonight. Thank you for your patience and for sticking with us. A reminder to subscribe to the channel, Full Throttle Racing. It's Division 3 tomorrow. It's Premier Division. New week begins on Tuesday, same time, same place, of course. I'll be missing for next week, but I'll be back for race 4 of the championship. And my name is Webbo, if you haven't already picked that up, at WebboRed5 on socials. But until next time, thank you so much from everybody here at Full Throttle Racing, and especially the Division 2 guys. And we will catch you on the next race day.